Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together into Great League with the best teams of Toxapex. Toxapex is gonna be one of the newest additions in Great League roster, so it is gonna be super bulky, kinda resourceful because it requires to be above level 40 but below level 50 to be a contestant for that desired IV mark that you want it to be really good for Great League. And of course it is gonna apply so much pressure to the opponent with its moveset and of course its bulk. It's gonna be really close to the bulk of Deoxys with so much high on defense that you are not gonna regret building one for yourself, and you already know how bulky that Great League meta can already be. So with that in mind trainers, we're gonna pair it with a different variety of mons, and you are not gonna regret using your time watching all this video to learn the best teams for that Pokemon for Toxapex for Great League. So that's all for now trainers, and let's dive into the first team showcase. We are starting off with a very good team with Runerigus up on the lead, followed up by Red Steel and of course Toxapex, which is gonna be pretty much everywhere. This team applies a lot of pressure to the enemy, relies a lot on its charge attacks to unleash its wrath, but overall even against its biggest counters, as you're seeing here, it's gonna be the Swampert, but we can still overcome this obstacle. You're gonna be on a very good spot. Both Focus Blast and Shadow Ball can do really nice work against this Pokemon, and of course you have the bulk to go ahead pretty much on anything, even on steel types with your Toxapex. Toxapex is gonna lose fair and square to those grounds and steels, especially that Stunfisk, but overall you still have Brine and Sludge Wave for the entire meta, and other than those threats, if you can cover those weaknesses, Toxapex will be on a very good spot. I really like Toxapex as a closer, as it is definitely not a safe switch and not a safe leader to be honest, so as a closer Toxapex can really outsmart your opponent if you can draw out something that your Toxapex is afraid of. So here is why we got this line of 3. Both Runerigus and Red Steel can take out of the way that Swampert, not by their own but with synergy, because they still lose to Swampert, but Swampert has to block and of course be left with the red amount of HP, meaning that after that threat out of the way, perhaps Stunfisk as well, you're gonna be on a very good spot with your Toxapex. So be sure to run Focus Blast for sure on your Red Steel. You're gonna need that move for sure. Zap Cannon is gonna be legacy, but it's gonna be the better move than Flash Cannon. But if you do not have Zap Cannon, just go with the Flash Cannon version and you're gonna be just fine. I really like Runerigus up on the lead, as it can debuff the opponent with Sandtomb or go straight for those Shadow Balls to nuke them down. If I were to go here for the straight Shadow Ball, well, Swampert could have easily gone out of the way, but my opponent here knew better. They did not shield at all, and Sandtomb was not enough to finish it off, but still we pressured even more the Swampert in using a shield. If the opponent doesn't have a Shadow Swampert, things are also pretty good for this team, because the regular Swampert is not gonna be able to finish off Runerigus on time and still is gonna lose to your Runerigus on the end game. So that's all for now trainers, and now let's move forward into the second team. Moving into the next one now, we got Trevenant up on the lead. I really like Trevenant for the current meta of Great League. It applies so much pressure to the enemy, even against its counters, the fire types, the dark types, whatever, you still have something to throw. So let's say you encounter something like a Scrafty, you can still threat it in using a shield or two with your seed bombs while they have to land that foul play, which is really huge. Shadow Ball will help you a lot against your counters, something like a fire type or something like a steel type, which is just gonna be a troublemaker for this team, but I believe that Trevenant will still make a very close matchup out of this Pokemon eventually, and you're gonna be able to farm down either with your Toxapex or your Swampert, which is gonna be the safe switch as well. So safe switch of the team, we already said of course Swampert. I really like this Pokemon as a Shadow Swampert because it applies even more damage to the enemy, but I believe that Swampert with its Mami moveset moveset, and of course Earthquake will be a huge asset for the current meta. Not only will help you in covering that steel weakness that Toxapex is gonna have, but also is gonna help you against other ground types and perhaps against other Swampert with a mirror match, because Toxapex is afraid of Swampert as well, especially if they run the move Earthquake, and you're gonna be in a very good spot if you can get ahead with your Swampert. What I like about Swampert is that as a safe switch, even against the grass type, which is gonna be the most horrible scenario, you're gonna be on a very good spot with landing that Earthquake, which means that at the worst case scenario, you're gonna get a shield out of them, which is really nice for a meta like this. Core breaker of the team, Altaria, because it can work pretty well against the grass type Trevenant, against Swampert, especially if you do not run Sludge Wave, and has kind of an even matchup against Toxapex, but I would not be that worried about this Pokemon because you can still go ahead and use your Sludge Wave or back-to-back Hydro Cannons with Swampert, your Shadow Ball with Trevenant, or just go ahead and go like a mirror match with your Toxapex. So that's all for now. Now let's move forward into the next one. Now battlers, we got a Medicham up on the lead. This Pokemon, you already know it, you already know how crazy it can be on Great League. On the entire meta, it can apply so much pressure with its fists and of course the Ice Punches or the Psychics. Just be sure that you wanna run something like Power Up Punch for that Leak Attack matchup, because it's getting really close nowadays, especially with the bulk that Leak Attack might have, and of course you might want to consider Power Up Punch for that Skarmory matchup, because it will give you a better time overall and against Registeel as well. Core breaker of the team is gonna be the Skarmory, because it can simply finish off Toxapex with this by resisting those poison moves, and of course has kind of a good matchup against Medicham and Sableye, but still it will get threat individually with those Pokemon of our line pretty much all the time and be put at the red, so it's gonna be kind of a soft core breaker. I would not be that much worried about this Skarmory matchup at all when encountered with his team. Medicham is gonna apply so much pressure. Sableye is gonna feel the safe sweet spot with it being only weak to the Charmers, and of course you're gonna be able to finish off any other unsuspected opponent with that return damage of yours. Toxapex here, once again a closer of the team. You are most gonna be able to use it as a closer for any team, as it is not gonna be a safe option at all, but it is gonna wall down certain elements, something like a Charmer for example, or something like a grass type. So that's all for this team, and now let's move forward into the final team recommendation. Triple Water is gonna be our final team showcase here with Toxapex as a closer once again. Safe switch of the team, let's start off from there, is gonna be Whiskas. This Pokemon is gonna work miraculously good against the entire meta of Great League, and of course with Blizzard you're gonna be on a very good spot against grass types, and that's why I prefer it as a safe switch. I prefer it as a safe switch more than Swampert. So the other team, if you're wondering what are you gonna do against dragons, something like an Altaria, or against grass type, something like a Trevenant, well, Whiskas might be a better safe switch overall, and nowadays Whiskas is gonna prove to be one of the better choices to use as a Mud Boy, especially with Toxapex around, because Mud Bomb is just gonna destroy down and get out of the existence the opposing Toxapex for sure. So Whiskas, a Pokemon definitely underrated lately, and I'm really gonna be able to use it on my next Great League rotation that is gonna pop up tomorrow or today, I think today. Whiskas, a pretty cool Pokemon, especially with Blizzard for that grass matchup. Toxapex here, once again a closer, and of course the lead of the team is gonna be Walrein, which is gonna apply so much pressure with its Icicle Spears. I know it was nerfed, but not that much. You can still use Walrein with it, it is still pretty viable and you are not gonna regret it. Okay, Walrein is also gonna be able to nuke down those poison or steel types with its Earthquake, and of course the core breaker of the team is gonna be over here that Ferrothorn, because it is gonna go pretty well against any water type and it's gonna resist a lot of moves, especially that ice and poison typing, which are gonna be pretty neutral against Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn is also gonna be going pretty well against the entire meta of Great League, to be honest. So you're gonna see a lot of Ferrothorns along your way to expert, legend, veteran, whatever your goal might be. So that's all, trainers. Thank you for watching, thank you for staying till the end. I hope you had a nice time watching the video. Just be sure to hit a huge like before you go, subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, and I hope to see you all into the next one. Take care, trainers. Choo choo choo.